Hi everyone, today we're going to study sketching the hyperbola with center at the origin, transverse axis on x-axis. Let us first define hyperbola. A hyperbola is the set of points such that the difference of the distances of the moving point from two fixed points is constant. The fixed points are called foci. The line passing through the foci is called transverse axis. The points of intersection of the hyperbola with the transverse axis are called the vertices. The center is the midpoint of the segment connecting the foci. The line passing through the center perpendicular to the transverse axis is called the conjugate axis. A chord of the hyperbola through either focus perpendicular to the transverse axis and terminated by the curve is called the latus rectum. Asymptote is a line which has the property that the distance from a point P on the curve to the line approaches zero as the distance of P from the origin increases without bounds. Here is the strategy in sketching the hyperbola. The x square over a square minus y square over b square equals 1. We know that this is a hyperbola whose center at the origin and the transverse axis on x-axis. The first step is to locate the vertices. The coordinates will be plus or minus a, 0. We can take the value of a from getting the square root of the denominator of x squared. Letter B, locate the ends of the conjugate axis. The coordinates are 0, plus or minus b. The value of b can be taken by taking the square root of the denominator of y squared. Next is to locate the foci. The coordinates will be plus or minus c, 0. Using this formula to find c. C equals plus or minus the big square root of the quantity a squared plus b squared. Letter D, draw the rectangle that passes through vertices and endpoints of conjugate axis as shown. This is our rectangle. Take note that the sides of this rectangle are parallel to the coordinate axis. The extensions of its diagonals are the asymptotes. We have the two asymptotes. The equations of the asymptotes are y equals plus or minus b over a times x. Letter E, find the length of latus rectum, and the value is 2b squared over a. Letter F, having drawn the asymptotes and plotted the vertices, and knowing that the hyperbola is symmetric with respect to both axes and to the origin, we can make a sketch of the curve. Let us see this example. Sketch the hyperbola x squared over 16 minus y squared over 9 equals 1. Take note that the x variable is positive and the y variable is negative. It means this is a hyperbola with center at origin and transverse axis on x-axis. Let us find the vertices. Let us collect the a square, which is the denominator of x squared. And this is 16. Let us get the value of a by taking the square root of this equation. So a equals 4. So the coordinates of the vertices are 4, 0 and negative 4, 0. Let us now plot the points. Here is our x and y axis. The origin is here, where center is also there. Here are the points 4, 0 and negative 4, 0 respectively. These are the vertices. Next are the endpoints of conjugate axis. Let us take the b square, that is the denominator of y square, that is equal to 9. So getting the value of b, we get the square root of this equation, b equals 3. So the coordinates of the endpoints are 0, 3 and 0, negative 3. These are the points. Next, the foci. Let us get the value of the foci using this equation. C equals plus or minus the square root of the quantity a squared plus b squared. The a squared is 16 while the b squared is 9. So the sum here is 25. Simplifying the square root of 25, we have plus or minus 5. So the coordinates of the foci are 5, 0 and negative 5, 0. Here are the respective foci. Letter D, we will draw the rectangle with sides parallel to the coordinate axis and through the vertices and the conjugate axis. Here is our rectangle. Then we will draw the asymptotes by simply drawing the diagonals and extend it. So here are the two asymptotes. The equations are y equals plus or minus b over a times x. Substituting the values for b and a, we have now y equals plus or minus 3/4 of x. Letter E, the length of latus rectum. The equation is 2b squared over a. Substituting the values, we have 2 times 3 squared over 4. When we simplify this value, we will get 4.5. This is the length of each latus rectum. Let us estimate the position of the latus rectum. Here are the two latera recta respectively. We know that it passes through the focus and perpendicular to the transverse axis. Now we are ready to draw the hyperbola. This is now the hyperbola. This is the right graph and this is the left graph. I hope you learned something from this video. See you again next time.